And let's ask ourselves, what are some of the things that we need to do in order to make business flourish and prosper in Kikuyu? I have committed to appoint a consulting firm to come and plan the Kikuyu of the next 10 years or 15 years. Because if we had done that, we would not have been bypassed by Southern Bypass. We would have said Southern Bypass, a bypass is a bypass, by the way, if you don't know. It is called bypass, so it was supposed to bypass us, which means it was supposed to kill us. And I appreciate really the people all the people that were involved in coming in with all these afterthought methods, which has opened Kikuyu a bit. But it's still an afterthought. At least I'm happy that we have intervened in Wangige. Because first we said Wangige is not going to be cut into two, because if ukisimama pale kwa PCA, uangalie upande ule, you always get this concept that ukipata kibati kubwa uweke juu, you still have one same Kikuyu na magari itapita chini. How come that we didn't think about that? So now we are thinking about it in Wangige. And we approach His Excellency the President and he gave us the tunnel. So we'll have a tunnel in Wangige. Wangige will not be split into two. On top of the tunnel, there will be People's Park. So we will identify a firm to come and tell us planning for Kikuyu and how we need to space it out. But in the meantime, there are certain things that we need to do. We know that traffic congestion in Kikuyu is a problem. We need to think about bypasses. And all of this we need to plan together. If you are coming and we are putting in through the Kenya Urban Support Program the road from Delhi coming all the way to Kikuyu here. Now you can imagine if you are coming from Delhi or if you are coming from Deya, you can come in and instead of coming to Kikuyu, you proceed. Or if you are coming from Southern Bypass, okay, just at the point where there is that dead end of this road, if it connects, you can come from Southern Bypass, pass through Kikuyu and go all the way to Delhi and go all the way to Deya without passing through Kikuyu town. So we need to think innovatively so that we can open up the town. We need to think, and we've done that. Kikuyu used to have great water problems. I can tell you that water problems in Kikuyu are a forgone thing. We have enough water for Kikuyu town. All we need to do now is to reticulate it better. We have 6 boreholes down here in Ondiri with very high yields, some producing 100 and something cubic per hour. And we are articulating that to come to the Ira, to come to town, to come to all the way going to Odero, going all the way to Kino. Some has gone to Deya, but Kikuyu town itself will have adequate water for planning over the next 5 or so years to come. So that without water, you cannot run the business that we are seeing here. So these are some of the things that we as a county are working on. The road infrastructure, we are still not done. And very soon, we will start designing the Kidifamako Road. It will be designed, and we have part of the money to start constructing Kidifamako Road. The money is already in the account, I can tell you that. I can tell you Kidifamako people. We have part of the money, okay? And when we get the rest of the money, we will complete, but we will start because we don't do the road in one day. So we want to improve. And when we are advised by our planners, we will see. So we will sit together and improve the business environment that we are working in. We've been having issues with single business permit. We've been having issues with physical plans, how they are approved, and who do you pay? Do you pay the askari, or do you pay the officer, or do you pay to the county? We know that. We know who you pay. But I want to challenge you. And this is what we've been talking and saying, when you pay the askari or the officer, you have always to pay another officer because I'll move that officer. So be prepared to be paying every officer that comes. But if you pay the county and display your permit on your door, any officer who comes will not touch you. I don't know what makes us feel that bribe is cheaper than paying what is ordinarily supposed to be paid. Shortcuts are not the shortest. They are wrong cuts. So we'll be coming up, I have discussed with my revenue team, and we'll be coming up with mechanisms to ensure that we also improve our efficiency. Because some of the reasons that makes you pay the askari is also because they tell you if you go through the normal process, there's a lot of delay. It's very bureaucratic. Utakaa miezi sita bila kupata. What we are doing is we are working on making sure that we have a service charter that tells you if you put it in today, within the next 5-7 days you get your approval approved. So we are working on all of that to improve the business environment. So I don't want to bore you. I want to appreciate and thank you and say that the future belongs to the organized. We are Kiambu County. We have a market in Nairobi here. When we buy raw materials, like we have seen a number of organizations that are buying raw materials in Nairobi and coming to do their formulations here, we have some of the lowest cost because it's just 20 minutes, you are the city center, you buy, Southern Bypass is now here. Within 20 minutes, uko industrial area, umenunua umerudi hapa. Some of the advantages that we are having as Kikuyu and as Kiambu County, they are not being enjoyed by other counties. But unfortunately, we are not making use of it. Because when we have too much energy, we use it on friction. I want to urge you, particularly business community, now that we have this energy, let us use it for movement. Let's not use it for friction. Let's make Kikuyu one of the best towns, upcoming towns. If you plan it properly, it can be an example to others. Same with Roiro, because Roiro is also coming up very, very, very fast. Same with Ruaka. Look at Ruaka now. If we are not careful, Ruaka is going to be like another, slum area. So these are areas that I think we can work together, but I want to thank you most sincerely, the exhibitors. We'll get your contacts, and I think what we need to do, Richard and Nyawira, is that after you've done the exhibition, we can organize to have a roundtable discussion and say, what are some of the constraints, what are some of the challenges, and what opportunities exist, and what do we need in order to move to the next level. Finally, it's just to tell you that I'm happy, and I'm happy because I see some people without masks. COVID is back in a big way. And please take this very seriously. COVID is back in a big way. We are already overwhelmed in Tigoni, and we may not be able to take any more patients, not because we have exhausted our beds, but because we cannot cope with provision of oxygen. Okay? We are now receiving 4 tons of oxygen every 12 hours. Our number today will probably reach 200. So we've actually even made a decision to open all our level 5 other hospitals and to start reducing even the normal patients. We'll be opening some of the other hospitals where the ordinary patients can go, and we're overwhelmed. And our health systems are going to be overwhelmed. So we are urging you, please, let us observe the COVID-19 protocols. Keeping the distance, putting on your masks, sanitizing more than ever before. We are also urging the public places, including bars and restaurants, to observe the COVID protocols. Otherwise, I can assure you from tomorrow, it's not going to be easy at all. We've also urged the churches to make sure that they only allow a third of their followers. I think by Monday we'll announce other measures, including burial and including Mombolezi, Mashakaya, all of that, we are going to be very, very strict, because if we allow our health systems to be overwhelmed, then we all drop dead like we saw in India. But I can tell you, even at the peak of wave 1, we never went beyond 110. But today, we are reaching 200. Wave 1, very few patients were using oxygen. Today, 95% of the patients are using oxygen, and not just ordinary oxygen. Imagine this, 15 liters per minute. So that's the situation. I don't want to create some fear and despondency and whatever. But you know that when somebody is, unajua tumerudi sasa kusalimiana. Kiona mtu anakusalimia ujue anakupea COVID. Kiona mtu ambaye hana mask, ujue wewe ako na COVID na wewe una, nataka upate. So let me stop there with that bad news and say once again, thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here. And let Kikuyu be a shining example of other sub-counties. Thank you, God bless. Oh, I'm told that nifungi officially, but hatujafika jioni. So with that, I think it's my pleasure to honor and pleasure to declare the Expo, is it Expo exhibition, officially closed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Governor.